Hello everyone, today we're watching some MSE. You heard me, MSE. Now, reaction videos are pretty good, but hey, let's just try.
Hi, my name is Cassandra, but I'm better.
Wait.
I see. Hey.
Can someone explain to me what's going on here?
Known as Cassie. Before I tell you all the drama in my life, please like and subscribe. I was 8 going on 9 the first time I got diamond jewelry. I was 11 the first time I got my own Bugatti. With a driver, of course. And I was 12 when I found out people hated my dad because he was a filthy rich oil tycoon. One time, I just reached school with my dad when some angry protesters surrounded our car. The rich are too rich! More money to the people! I was quite scared, and Dad looked freaked out as the driver quickly drove away. And the next day, Dad told me he was pulling me out of school. What? Why? Those protesters knew the school you attended, Cassie. I can't stand the thought of you being hurt in any way. Please, I'm doing this for your safety. You're the most important person in the world to me. I knew he was looking out for me, but I hated that I'd suddenly become a prisoner in my home. And being homeschooled was so boring. I was always trying to come up with new pranks to torture my tutors and bodyguards and make them quit. Yeah, I wasn't always the nicest, but when you're stuck at home, you gotta find ways to entertain yourself, right? Once when I was 16, I heard the servants talking about a carnival near our mansion, so I planned days in advance to sneak out one evening, and I was having the time of my life there. But just as I was chatting away with a friendly young clown, he suddenly got tackled to the ground by my freaking guards, and right behind them was Dad. How did you know where I was? I've got a tracker on your phone, obviously. What are you doing here, and who's this clown? Oh, you want to know who this clown is? He's my boyfriend. Yeah, I met him online on dataclown.com, and he's sweet and of course funny, and I'm madly in love with him. And what am I doing here, you ask? I was planning on running away with him tonight, duh. She's crazy. I don't even know who she is. Let me go. I was grounded for a month. Yeah, whatever that meant. I was already grounded for eternity. Well, now Dad took my phone away too. I just said all that rubbish about running away because I was so mad at him. But some weeks later, Dad was diagnosed with a heart condition, and the doctors told him to rest more and avoid stress. And I backed down with my rebellion. Because of course, I didn't want to make things worse. Luckily, I met Kian soon. He was the gardener's son who sometimes filled in for his dad, and I was always ready for those days with my binoculars. But I was leaning out of my window too far, and I accidentally dropped them. He caught me red-handed. I lied that I was watching a mosquito. He pretended to believe me, and we became friends. And soon enough, we were much more than friends. We would meet secretly all over the mansion. Of course, I couldn't tell Dad. I knew he trusted no one to get close to me and would probably fire Kian, and I couldn't bear that. Life was finally looking up, till one day, I heard voices in the living room and walked in to find Dad with James. James was Dad's friend's son, and my arch nemesis. He was a couple of years older than me, and we'd never gotten along as kids. No one had been happier than me when he'd gone away to boarding school. Yeah, he was cuter now, but I was sure he was still a turd.
Cassie, come say hi to James. He's starting as an intern at my company from Monday.
Yeah. Hi, James. How you been? Don't really care. And how come you've never asked me, Dad?
Well, we were just discussing your tutor's reports, Cassie, and you've really got to step it up if you plan on taking over your father's company one day. He's built it by working very hard, and it should go into capable, responsible hands.
Oh, and would those hands be yours? And why were you discussing my reports? Dad, I want to start as an intern on Sunday.
No one works on the weekend, honey.
Well, fine. Monday, then. Arrange my bodyguards. Roll out the red carpet. Bring out the helicopter. Cassie is coming to the office. I'd never taken much interest in Dad's company before, but I had to now because James was totally sucking up to Dad, pretending to be super interested in everything, staying extra hours to do research, and giving ideas that Dad loved. I even tried stepping up once by making a presentation for a project proposal, but James suggested one tiny change to it, and Dad told him he was brilliant. It was like I was invisible around James. And then a week later, things got worse. Dad threw a huge party, and I was really surprised to see so many people around my age, and not the usual boring old guests he invited.
Cassie, meet Esteban. His father's in the diamond trade. Oh, and this is Ahmed. He's third in line to the Moroccan throne. And this is...
Dad, what is all this?
It's all for you, darling.
You know my health isn't the best, and I'd like to set you up for success. By marrying me off? Well, not now, but eventually, yes. Honey, I know you can't run my business after me. You're not cut out for that, so I need someone who can take care of you. Please, give them a chance. Ouch! Dad's words really stung. He didn't believe I could even take care of myself. Just then, Esteban took my hand. You look as lovely as a Matisse. I don't know Matisse. Is she a new actress? Oh, alors tu es un blonde débile. Thanks. Hey, hands off her, buddy. Je vais te le botter le cul. Jeez, what was that about? He was just being nice. No he wasn't. I don't think you know much about the real world, or how some guys can be total jerks. Oh, I've learned a few things hanging out with you. Me? I'm just looking out for you, girl. And that's what your dad's doing too, in his own way. Well, he's crazy if he thinks I'm just gonna start dating one of these weird guys. Wait, was this your idea? Of course not. I do have a suggestion that can get you out of this mess, though, but you're not gonna like it. Try me. I'll tell your dad we're together. He likes me, and then all these random guys will be off your back for now. But I will be asking for something in return. While the idea of even fake dating you makes me want to puke, it just might work. Okay, what do you want? First, get your act together and ace those grades so your dad thinks I'm a good influence on you. Then, you use your princess powers to convince him to lend me money for my business startup. Tried asking him, but he wasn't too sold. Surely his beloved daughter can talk him into it, right? Once I have the investment, we'll mutually break up, and you can continue having fun with your gardener. Excuse me? Cassie, please. Literally everyone in the household knows, except your dad. Anyway, so I'll be your fake boyfriend, and you'll get me the investment. I knew you've been kissing Dad's butt for a reason. Deal or no deal? Ugh, fine, deal. But when I told Kian about the plan, he was as thrilled as a wet cat. It's either this or dating random dudes, Kian. Okay, fine. But wait, how about sometime later we make it seem like James dumped you and broke your heart? Then I can swoop in as Mr. Nice Guy to comfort you, and your dad'll finally approve of me. But wouldn't that make Dad hate James? Well, yeah, but why do we care about James? He's manipulating you to get what he wants too, isn't he? Well, that was true. And the next day, James and I told Dad we were seeing each other. He was really surprised at first, but then he hugged us tight and said nothing could make him happier. Meanwhile, I had to uphold my side of the bargain with James. I started paying attention in my tutoring sessions with him, and surprisingly, I was actually enjoying learning. Oh my god, Hamlet is a total ripoff of The Lion King. I think it's the other way around, but you did get the comparison right, so, well...
Wait, guys, what?
Done, Cassie. Also, when James found out I didn't even know how to swim or ride a bike, he took it upon himself to teach me those things too. Why did no one ever teach you these basic life skills? Well, I'm rich and not very basic. It's not like I'll ever be cycling around to deliver newspapers or something. Never say never. Okay, now look straight ahead and start pedaling. Don't let go of the cycle, okay? You better not, James. Of course not. I got you. At first, I was really scared, but as I gained momentum, it felt so liberating. I looked back to smile at James, but he was no longer holding the bike. I panicked and crashed straight into a tree. Are you all right? All right? I think I hurt my ankle. James started massaging my ankle, and for some reason, it made my heart flutter. Now, here's a lesson for you. Life isn't about how many times you fall down. It's about how many times you get back up. Here's my lesson for you. When you fall hard on your butt, just crawl into bed for the rest of the day. Oh, I don't think I can even walk. And suddenly, James swept me up and carried me to my room. A maid got him some ice for my ankle, and he stayed a little longer. You can go now. I'm better. Worried your boyfriend will find out I was here and get mad? Of course not. Kian completely trusts me. And wait, Cassie, I don't think he's right for you. What? You don't even know him. Well, actually, I do. Kian never mentioned it. His dad also used to be the gardener at our place, and we played together as kids. Look, I don't want to say anymore. I just feel like he's not the most honest guy. Well, of course not, because he's just a poor servant's boy. They're all dishonest, right? Gosh, I already didn't have a very high opinion of you, but I didn't think you'd look down on someone just because of their social status. No, Cass, I'm just looking out for you. You're no angel, James. You're just using this whole situation to get money out of my dad for your project. I know your dad's nowhere as rich as mine. Okay, there's no point in talking right now, so I should go. I'm sorry if I've offended you. And with that, he left, leaving me feeling so angry. I really didn't want to continue fake dating him anymore, but I couldn't get out of it just yet. And Dad had also asked us to represent him at a company event a few days later. Kian was getting annoyed that I'd be out and about with James as a couple, but I reassured him it was pure torture for me, except that James looked even better than usual in his tux.
You look lovely.
I'm still mad at you.
I'm not in love with you either, but I'm generous with compliments.
Don't hold your breath. You're not getting one from me. No, actually, wait. Go on. Hold your breath. James started laughing, and I couldn't help joining in. The event was super boring, and after we were done meeting everybody important, James suggested we escape for dinner. He instructed the driver to take us to this secluded little restaurant with the most amazing food. And then, James told me about his project.
I've been asking your dad to invest in an environmental conservation organization that helps clean up oil spills and even works on preventing them in the first place. I think if oil companies took such initiatives, it would make people hate them less. He's not too keen on it because it's not profitable, so I thought maybe he'd listen to you.
Really? He seems to respect your opinions much more.
No, Cassie, he knows he overprotected you, and now he worries that you're not ready for the real world, that's all. But I keep telling him that you're smart and spunky, and you'll be just fine.
He smiled and tucked a stray hair behind my ear, and my heart was fluttering again. Okay, so James really wasn't a jerk after my dad's money for something selfish, but I had a boyfriend. I shouldn't be enjoying his company this much, and Kian wasn't too happy about it either.
You're studying again? Homework can wait. Come on, let's go out.
But James said,
James, I thought this was a fake relationship.
It is, but he's still my real tutor, so please let me study. I have my SATs tomorrow. But things really blew up one evening when James offered to teach me some basic self-defense skills. We were practicing in my room when suddenly Kian came jumping in through the window.
What's going on here?
It's not what it looks like, Kian.
Yeah, dude, calm down.
Don't tell me to calm down, jerk. Kian shoved him, and suddenly the two of them were in a wild fight. But then James threw a punch, and Kian fell to the floor hard. James, what did you do? I think you've really hurt him.
You know what, Cassie? I'm done with this fake relationship. Deal's off. You're on your own.
James stopped coming to the office too, and when Dad found out he dumped me, she was furious with him. I didn't have to pretend to be brokenhearted. I was genuinely sad that James had left like this, and as planned, Kian was there to pick up the pieces. He and I started hanging out in front of Dad, who didn't seem to mind.
I can see that Kian cheers you up these days. I didn't know you two were friends, but I'm glad he's around.
Kian was ecstatic and was going on about how Dad would easily accept him as my boyfriend now, but I just wasn't sharing his excitement. Something had changed. I just couldn't stop thinking about James. Then one day, I found Kian snooping around Dad's study. What are you doing?
Oh, I was just waiting around to talk to your dad. I was wondering if he'd give me a job at the company.
Okay, but why were you going through his things? Wait, are you wearing his watch?
I just tried it on, babe. Why are you acting so suspicious?
I don't know, maybe it's something that James said. How come you never told me you knew him from before?
Because there's nothing to tell. Did he also tell you some rubbish story about how I stole things from his house?
He was always such an arrogant, spoiled rich brat. He didn't say anything about stealing. Look, Kian, there's something I've been meaning to talk to you about. I think we shouldn't see each other anymore.
What? Why?
Lately, I just don't feel the same way about you. I'm really sorry. And suddenly, Kian went bonkers.
It's because of James, isn't it? Well, it's not like I'm crazy in love with you, but I've put up with you for so long, and for what? So you could just dump me suddenly and I get nothing?
We're done. Get out of my house, now! That night, I was crying in my room when Dad walked in, and I told him everything.
Honey, I'm sorry that I've pushed you into doing all this to avoid dating those guys I introduced. I should have shown more faith in you to take care of yourself and my company. Your university acceptance letters arrived today, and you got into every single one. I'm really proud of you, Cassie.
I was dying to tell James, but I knew he wouldn't answer my calls or texts. But the next day when I went downstairs, I found James standing in the main hall, and I threw myself at him. Why did you disappear like that, doofus?
Because it was clear that you were in love with Kian. I couldn't stand there knowing he isn't a good guy. Your dad told me everything, though, and he called me here. Also, it looks like someone convinced him to invest in my idea.
It's a good idea, and he needs people around him who'll give him those.
And you? Do you need me around?
Yes, but as my real boyfriend this time. What do you say?
Fine, but you're paying for our next date. You know, since you're so much richer than me.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Cassie will take care of you.
Should I even watch anything? Okay, let's do this one. What's this? Say,
Okay, class. Who would like to do problem 3 on the board?
last one.
Please
then
don't be me, please.
We'll do something else. No. What's this?
Hi, my name is Gigi, and I'm from Illinois. Before I continue, please like and subscribe. Ever since I can remember, I have loved cars. I guess it's because my dad is a professional racer. I grew up hanging out with him at the racetrack, and his pit crew always treated me like one of their own. Don't get me wrong, I'm totally a girly girl. I love to do makeup, get my nails done, chat with my friends, and post selfies on Instagram. But given a choice between a hairbrush and a socket wrench, well, you can't fix a car with a hairbrush. The year I turned 16, my dad was in a terrible accident while racing. It was so hard for my mom to see him in the hospital, but I did the best I could to help by keeping my little brother and sister in line while she was visiting him. I cooked and cleaned, and sure, I hated it, but I had been raised with a pit crew mentality. Everyone pitches in. I missed my dad, and I couldn't wait for things to get back to normal. At night, I would watch NASCAR videos on my phone under the covers, dreaming of the day that it would be me driving. One day at school, our mechanics teacher said he was offering extra credit for anyone who wanted to work on fixing up an old car after class. My arm practically came out of my socket as I raised it to volunteer. The boy sitting next to me sneered.
But you're just a girl.
I took a wrench that I had in my zini purse and slammed it on his desk. Okay, flyboy, what kind of wrench is this? I was mad, but even though he was dressed in retro style, I couldn't help but notice his wavy blonde hair and steel blue eyes. He was kinda gorgeous. It was like I was watching a unicorn flip his mane in slow motion. I bet you're all thinking, focus girl, this guy is trouble with a capital WTA.